Morning, Mike. How are you, sir?
All right, Roger. How are you?
I am good. We were just talking about the coronavirus, concerns about it. Is it here in Canada? It's having an impact financially as well, the markets.
Yeah, sure are. The mainland China benchmark stock index, the Shanghai Composite, today dropped by close to 3%, which was one of the largest declines we've actually seen over the past several months as they go into the Lunar New Year break. The issue with this is the unknown from an economic standpoint. How widespread is it? What does it do to the global airline industry, for example, travel, tourism, trade? It's all affected, and we've seen the price for oil, for example, drop by 4% in just the past 24 hours, and that's the U.S. price. So it's all integrated here. Again, it's the early stages of this likely, and they're trying to assess, exactly how widespread it is and what it could do, in fact, to the global economy.
And of course, that is the big concern. We'll see what happens with it, though. Hopefully, it is contained. Bank of Canada talking about lowering rates.
They left the door open yesterday with their interest rate announcement because they're worried about consumer confidence, retail spending. We'll get some retail data later this week. The retail market obviously has been, about the shift from traditional mainline stores over to e-commerce. Just yesterday we learned about the closure of Carlton Cards, for example, in the North American marketplace. But what they're worried here about is, also a slowdown in manufacturing, trade. Other things that, we got through the trade-related risk of U.S. and China and the new NAFTA, and now it's on to other things. And they're saying we might lower interest rates if necessary. Of course, we've got a spring budget coming up, and they could have some economic stimulus there as well. So it's interesting to watch. The dollar did drop, though, on the Bank of Canada's signals.
It's such a fine line. Of course, the question is how low can it go, too? Right? I mean, some places in Europe.
They do have some room in it. You were going to mention Europe, where they actually have negative interest rates there. We're nowhere near that here.
All right, good to know. Good to know. Let's get to this quickly. Volkswagen Canada, what a massive fine for their emissions tests, the cheating on that.
Largest on record, $196 million in environmental fines. They basically admitted to 60 counts of, bringing in cars that exceeded the emission levels based on this software that skirted the rules and regulations. 128,000 vehicles. So they basically agreed to this. It could have actually been more, as it turns out. But, this had been, how many years ago was the diesel emissions scandal actually first come to the forefront?
I'm trying to think. Is it 10 years? Is it closing it? It can't be closing it on 10 years.
Not quite 10, but it's a number. Got to look it back now. So it takes a while for these things to work out. I mean, this company's paid billions already in fines to close the books on that.
And is that final now, that number? Or will
they both sides have agreed to it. It was almost like a plea bargain for all intents and purposes.
So they got off cheap then?
Yep.
All right, Michael, thank you very much, sir. Have a great day.
Thank you.